I've always been against young Sheldon's cancellation, but I'm once reminded how truly unnecessary it was after a new update from Missy and Georgie actors. It has been more than a month since young Sheldon's emotional finale, which saw the aftermath of George's abrupt death followed by the end of Sheldon's childhood in Texas. As someone who has been closely following the state of network TV, I am well aware of the slew of cancellations from CBS. Some of them have been very controversial. Until now, I'm still baffled at pulling the plug on NCIS, Hawaii. Because of this, I'm also well aware that young Sheldon's cancellation has nothing to do with the lack of interest from the public. Likely, it wasn't CBS' decision, much like the Big Bang Theory's ending. Instead, it was due to the established canon that the writers wanted to preserve. Still, it's difficult not to feel bad about it after learning about Mima actor Annie Potts openly criticizing it, not to mention Reagan Revord's comments about Missy's ending fate. For me, a new cast reunion post-finale further solidifies my stance that young Sheldon shouldn't have ended. Weeks after the Coopers' collective story in Texas ended, Revord and Georgie actor Montana Jordan recently reunited. In their adorable images, Revord is seen meeting Jordan's real-life daughter for the first time. The snaps are adorable, but looking at them, I can't help but imagine that it is Missy coming by to babysit baby Cease, something that young Sheldon failed to highlight. Georgie and Missy were the show's most underrated pairing, and now there's barely any chance to highlight that because Revord is only going to be a guest star at best in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. Missy and Georgie could have easily taken over young Sheldon after Sheldon's exit. Sheldon can drop by from time to time in the Coopers. While Georgie and Missy's story team-ups were sparse over the years, they were always fun together. I've always been vocal about young Sheldon's underutilization of Missy and her relationship with Georgie, especially in light of Mary's bias towards Sheldon was one of the unexplored aspects of the show. However, at least Jordan's story continues via Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. While it's essentially a sequel to its parent series, CBS and the writers didn't have to make the awkward transition, considering the number of arcs that the main show could have tackled if it simply continued as the Coopers. Young Sheldon diversifying its storytelling could have culminated in its rebranding, which would have seen Georgie and Missy take over the show. Ian Armitage as Sheldon was brilliant, but it came to a point that her siblings had more interesting adventures than him. Young Sheldon diversifying its storytelling could have culminated in its rebranding, which would have seen Georgie and Missy take over the show. Everything else would have stayed the same, except that Sheldon would already be based in California. This way, it could also properly tackle the family's long-term grief over George's unexpected death. I understand the drive to do something different, but not when it's getting rid of a really good thing in the process.